and welcome to the Direct Selling Success Podcast. I'm Anna Green, and I'm here to share with you tips, tricks, and training on network marketing done right. Thank you for listening. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Direct Selling Success Network Marketing Done Right. I am with Lauren Prentice today from the Business Box. So, Lauren runs a subscription box business and a subscription box teaching business. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about you and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Lauren, and I am a multi-business owner. So, I have multiple businesses. Like Anna said, I have the Business Box, which is a subscription box for business owners. I have a company, or I do lots of teaching of how to start a subscription box, how to scale a subscription box, and how to include recurring revenue within your business. And I also have a theatre business as well. So we sell theatre tickets, and we have a membership that goes alongside that. So lots and lots of different things. I also have a Christmas elf business, which I always forget. But yeah, that one pops up every now and again. Well, every Christmas. So
Very
yeah,
seasonal, that one.
it's very seasonal. Yeah, it doesn't quite work in the summer.
No. So tell us a little bit about, when you got started in business or how you got started in business and a bit like keep us up to date to today.
Yeah, of course. So I started my subscription box because obviously that's what we're kind of mainly talking about today. Started my subscription box during lockdown. I had previously been running my theatre business. So we sell theatre tickets for West End shows for up to half the box office price. So it's brilliant business. It's really, really popular. We do seven figures in sales a year. And that's all well and good unless you're in a lockdown, in which case none of the theatres are opening. There's really nothing you can do. So we spent about 18 months refunding people's tickets, changing people's tickets. And it was just so depressing. Like, if you can imagine that every day you're logging onto your computer to be able to have to let someone down, and it's literally through no fault of your own. And there's nothing you can do about it to put it right. So it was a really, really, really bleak time. And I mean, we all remember how miserable lockdown was. Very few people look back at it with, thinking about how wonderful it was. And we were well, I was just letting people down left, right, and center. And it wasn't good for me. And I knew that lockdown wasn't ending soon. So we got to 2020, like the autumn of 2020 or the end of the summer. And it was like, well, we're in for this for quite a long time now. And they kept hinting that we might get things back by Christmas, and they kept hinting that we might get things back. And I just thought, you know what? There's literally no guarantees. I've got to do something different. So I started to look at what was really working in other countries, what was really working. And I knew it needed to be recurring revenue because basically I knew that my other business would hopefully come back and start thriving again. And we'd have to run these two things concurrently. So I had to look at what was really working in America because basically anything that America does comes over here eventually. And subscription boxes were really, really thriving. Now, also, when you're in a lockdown, subscription boxes are going to really, really thrive because you
Mm.
can't go out and you can't go out and spend money in the shops like normal. Getting a delivery of something is exciting and it's novel. Um, and I looked at what I was passionate about, what I loved, and running businesses was, one of those things. So I thought, well, when you run a business, you don't have that kind of like cooler moment that they talk about where you sort of stood around the water cooler having a chat. You really are on your own. And there's nobody at the end of the year that goes, right, well, we're having a Christmas party to celebrate and all that. So I wanted to kind of put something in place that was like a monthly delivery that not only would help people with their business, but would also help people with really looking after themselves as well and kind of getting that like once a month pat on the back of going, yeah, you're doing all right. Like, keep it up. It's not as bad as it was yesterday, or you had a good day today, and that kind of picked me up. And that's basically where the business box came from.
So you looked at the market and you not totally changed what you were doing, but diversified massively to fit
Hmm.
what you was
Yeah,
working.
yeah. Well, it wasn't so much of a as like a pivot. It was just a completely different business and completely new business because at the time within the theatre industry there really wasn't much I could do. we were pretty much snookered, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, and I think for our businesses, so direct sales, network marketing, it boomed in lockdown. It had the total opposite
Yeah,
effect. It just went bananas because of that
yeah,
very reason. Everybody was at home, everybody was sat doing nothing, just shopping online. They just
yeah.
wanted something,
Hmm.
and people wanted that extra income, so people would come in. Whereas after lockdown, probably 2021, 22, things started to get a bit rocky for direct sellers because
Yeah,
they'd had that huge big boom, but yet everybody else's life then started to return back to normal. So people were leaving, people were not buying in the same way, and
yeah,
it really started to affect their businesses. And a lot of the ones that are still going now, a lot of the people in direct sales who are still going now are the ones that have diversified, who have brought those extra things into their business,
yeah,
those extra offerings or services that they can then add to their repertoires, whether that is within that direct sales company that and that model, or whether it's separate completely.
yeah.
And I know that I wanted to get you onto this podcast to talk about subscription boxes. And weirdly enough, in that same week, you messaged me to come and be a guest on the podcast, which was really spooky.
That is spooky, isn't it?
Very spooky. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, something like that.
So I think having something like a subscription box or a monthly purchase that direct sellers, network marketers can add to their services within their brand already is a huge potential.
Yeah.
And yeah, can you give us, I don't know, some ideas on what sort of thing they could
Yeah,
do?
absolutely. So I think for the product-based direct sellers, this is it's kind of a no-brainer to have a subscription offering because it automates things. If you've got customers that are buying from you, every month or every couple of months. So for example, say it's a skincare brand and they're buying the same cleanser every single month. If you can say to them, look, I can just set that up for you on a recurring direct debit and I'll just deliver it to you. You don't even have to think about it. So you don't have to get to the dregs of your bottle. It will already be there. You'll have one lined up and you won't even have to think about it. And if you can say, and actually while I'm doing it, why don't I throw in a toner and we can have, and I'll do you a deal for getting the toner and the moisturizer or whatever it is, you start to upsell and you start to bundle things together. So you not only have you got that recurring revenue, you've got that predictable income and those predictable orders month on month. Because I know lots of the kind of the direct selling companies, they need to have like minimum orders each month to like retain levels and things like
Yeah,
that. You already know then that you're going to hit that, and then anything on top is extra. So I would be approaching your clients and saying, I can see that you already ordered this, or did you love this? Let's put it on a subscription for you. You can get it, you know, every month, every couple of months, however often they're going to need it. But also having a look at things and thinking like, okay, where do I stand with doing like a discovery box? So it's something for people who maybe aren't familiar with certain products but love the brand. So it might be that you say, okay, well, I'm going to put together a little bit of everything, a little bit of skincare, a little bit of, I don't know, whatever else is makeup, whatever else is offered. Or if it was like wax melts, different scents, different fragrances, different like styles of product, putting them all together and making like a really nice experience for people. People will love that because if they're already invested in the products and they like you as well, because obviously people buy from people, you're in a really strong position because people are going to say, okay, yeah, actually, I do buy wax melts every month, or I do use all my candles every month and I need to replenish them. And actually getting a surprise, because we don't get enough of those nice surprises these days, it's going to be a real winner. And it just automates everything for everyone. And obviously the
yeah,
benefits to you as the seller are through the roof.
yeah. And like you said, having that near enough, well, it's not totally guaranteed income, but a guaranteed
Yeah.
idea of what you're going to get every month means you can prepare, means you can
Hmm.
maybe, concentrate on other things, start to
Yeah,
build that so it's the same, growing every month. And
exactly.
it can be huge. And I don't think enough people think about that. I mean, we're often taught in the industry to look at your customers and always follow up when you know that they're going to be running out. But actually, if you can catch them automatically before they're running out, why
Yeah.
would you not be doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it saves you a lot of time as well, because that one message that you send to someone saying, let's get you on a subscription, actually, it saves you messaging them every month, every 2 months to say,
Yeah.
have you run out yet? Do you need any more? It saves that. You've automatically got it happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose it's not that difficult to set that up somehow.
No, absolutely. I mean, I use specific software, but that's because I'm running a slightly different model. I'm curating the boxes and also on quite a big scale.
Yeah.
But if you were doing it and you were just placing your own sort of like stock orders and putting it through as a stock order, I should imagine you could just set up a direct debit. Somebody pays you and then you order the bits.
Yeah. 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 It could be that simple.
Yeah,
And
like I think often in business we really overcomplicate things. We think we have to, you know, overcomplicate stuff, and we don't. We can just literally keep it simple, do it as a direct debit, place the orders, deliver the stuff. Job done.
yeah. Yeah. And that's a great model for people who are buying the same things, that consumable product over and over
Hmm.
and over again.
Yeah.
And the idea of the surprise boxes, I think, is a great idea to get people trying those different things.
Hmm.
How do you market something like that? Because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I don't know how to talk about the getting something that they might not know what it is or they might not like."
Yeah, well, I would really leverage on the fact that it is a surprise. I'd leverage with the fact that it is a surprise, that it's something that they're going to, they already know they're going to love. I would sort of say you set some stipulations, so it's between X amount and X amount of items, and you might say, you will get at least one. I don't know. Let's use the example of if it was for Usborne books, you get at least one touchy-feely book. You get at least one. Um, phonics book and you get at least one fact book, and everything else is extra on top of that. So people know what they're getting, and they've got an idea. Um, but that you can really like build on those sort of core things and add in the extra bits as well with that element of a surprise. So, they're getting a touchy-feely, but they don't know whether they're getting one on a monster or one on a goat. I don't know. Um, and the same as if you were doing it for say wax melts, you might say, right, we're going to get one big wax bar, but you don't know what the fragrance of it is, so that's a surprise as well. And you could say, you're getting one thing from the new collection, you're getting one thing from a collection that's going to retire soon, and things like that. But you keep it nice and simple, and you can really build the excitement that way of not knowing what people are getting.
Yeah.
I actually used to get a wax melt box. It was by someone who made their wax melts, but I used to love when it came and I get like, 1 month was like movie themed. So we got like, popcorn scented one, and which sounds horrible, but it was quite nice. And one that smelt like sweets, and it was just really nice to sort of have that element of like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to selling, so many people just sell on the facts.
Hmm.
And if they're selling on the fact that this is this fragrance and it's like this and or whatever, or it does this thing, we forget about that whole selling that sizzle of something that
Yeah,
is unknown, how it's going to
yeah,
make somebody feel, how it's going to arrive through the door and be this amazing treat for them every month, and what's that
yeah.
going to do to them, and that sort of stuff. So many people don't sell like that. And that's where they're missing a trick, a huge trick, because actually the excitement of these surprise things coming through the post, or just the ease of a subscription that is for a
Yeah.
product that they get every day, taking that pressure away, that weight away.
Hmm.
All those things are
Yeah,
massive selling points that people just don't think about.
exactly that. Yeah. And actually thinking a little bit outside the box as well. So, for example, one of my clients, she is an Usborne bookseller, and she has a subscription. Now, the subscription isn't for parents like you would think. It's actually the subscription is for schools. And each term they get, I think it's about £300 or £400 worth of books delivered to them. So that's a huge, huge order for her every
Yeah,
term, 3 times a year. And she bases it around, for example, she might do one that's based around phonics, and the next one might be based around topic books, and the next one might be based around, say, mental health. And she curates them. So it's things that the school are going to need and they're going to use. But also she can then build on things like, because it's a surprise box, she can use any offers that come up. If
Yeah.
there's a sale, she can use some books that are in the sale. So she's getting them really, really, really good value for money, as well as taking advantage of any offers and things that she can take advantage as well to
Mm.
maximize her commission.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And the free books for the school because they work in that way that, the more they
exactly
buy, the
that.
more free
Yeah.
stuff they get. So, oh yeah, absolutely brilliant idea. And
Yeah.
I think it is that thinking outside the box stuff, and I hate that phrase because it's just so
Yeah.
corporate. But
Yeah.
actually thinking differently and being creative with how you talk about your offers and what you can do with what you've got in your
Hmm.
range of products or services
Yeah.
is
And
huge.
just sort of thinking about that, going back and thinking about that ideal client. So like, who is it that you're best off selling to? For her, she knew that she was going to get a better return by selling a subscription to schools as opposed to selling it direct to the parents that would usually be
Yeah.
buying the books. By thinking outside the box in that sense, she's got a far, far, far stronger offering that no
Mm.
one else is offering as well.
Yeah, and I suppose it's similar to skincare businesses. You can sell to one person with the skincare, or you can sell to a salon,
Hmm.
if allowed, sell to
Yeah.
somebody who's going to make better use of the products, make more use of the products,
Hmm.
sell more of the products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, it is. I think a lot of direct sellers get stuck in a rut of I need to sell this many products, I need to sell X amount of things,
Hmm.
you know. Um, on another note, and I know it is like a subscription, but a lot of the companies that I work with, they are party plan. So
Yeah.
they get somebody to host a party. I used to back in the day have party hosts on subscriptions. So if they held a
Okay.
certain number of parties every year, they
That's a good
would get
idea.
freebies.
Yeah.
They became my VIP hosts and they would
Hmm.
get extra stuff for subscribing to have X amount of parties in a year.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that different way of thinking of
Hmm.
right, how can I get these people to be regularly purchasing from me without me having to chase them all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, we did something really interesting in lockdown in that it was like my friend hosted it and it was a virtual spa party and it was with Temple Spa.
Yeah, yeah,
The lady sent out like all these little pots and in the little pots she put in like there was a cleanser and there was a toner and there was a moisturizer and there was a serum and all the bits and
yeah,
pieces. And then she led us through like how to do it. And then afterwards we could order the products. And
yeah,
that kind of out of the box thinking worked really well because we all got to sort of have a shared experience when we couldn't hang out. And we
yeah,
equally got to be in a position where we could sample the products in our own homes, sort of up close and get up close and personal with the products without having to leave the house. And it was
yeah,
ideal.
yeah. And you were there having a treat and having an
Hmm.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
and those parties, unfortunately, especially the ones on Zoom, have lessened quite considerably with the Zoom overload that people experienced over the past
Yeah.
few years. But I think the in-person stuff, doing that and sitting around with a group of friends is definitely coming back and
Yeah.
can be used in some sort of subscription box way. I mean, you could have everybody buy in a box
Hmm.
that comes to the party to use at the event. You
Yeah.
could be zooming people in that can't come that can have these little boxes and things and
Yeah.
then sell the subscriptions from the
From there.
parties.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like you say, it is that thinking outside the box. It's thinking about what really works for you and what works
Yeah,
for your lifestyle as well. And actually having a subscription box and knowing that actually, okay, well, if I've got 10 people subscribed to this box, I've got a guaranteed, I don't know, £300 worth of orders each month. I get my commission off of that. I hit my target for whatever it is you're trying to hit. Okay, what about if I up that to 20? What if I up that to 100? Where does that put me?
yeah,
And where does that put me within the sort of sales ranking? And it's a really good way, I think, as well, to be able to kind of climb those ranks from a sales perspective without the kind of pressure as much because you've got that, you've already got that. And anything
yeah.
else on top is a bonus.
Yeah, it's just a very different way of thinking about your business, isn't it? Thinking
Yeah,
about how you're
absolutely.
selling those things and what you are offering. I mean, you could offer a cleanser, buy this cleanser, toner, moisturizer. But if you said, well, buy this cleanser, toner, moisturizer, why don't you have it every month?
Yeah,
It just makes sense.
100%. Yeah, it really
Yeah.
does. Like you say, it's thinking about what other angles you can approach things, because obviously you're still selling at the end of the day. You're just selling it in a slightly different way.
Yeah. So I have a subscription model business. I have a membership. So I don't sell a product, I'm service based.
Yeah.
I have this membership where people can get help and support on the thing that they like. Your theatre tickets are subscribed. So it's
Hmm.
the same idea, but it's a service.
Yeah.
How can somebody with a product-based business or in the direct sales industry with a service-based business, how can they implement something maybe like that? Maybe.
Yeah, so it's tricky, but I suppose it's using the skills that they've got. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be within their direct selling side of things.
No, no,
They could,
true.
it could be that they sell Sensi, but actually they're a really keen horse rider, and they could, offer
Yeah,
something like an online course for other people who learn who horse ride, or it could be a membership for people who own horses, for example.
yeah,
Um, and actually, it's thinking outside the box a little bit again. And I know we keep coming back to that, and it's such a cliche, but that kind of focusing on, well, what do I know? What am I an expert in? What am I good at? What do I know really well? And
yeah,
thinking that side of things,
yeah,
and using that. And, is there a service I can offer that is going to substitute my income or supplement, sorry, my income?
yeah,
Um,
and yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Because
and that can be skills that they've learned from uh, the direct selling side of things. Like, for example, a really easy one would be if you were an Usborne person. I keep using this just because I've worked with people from Usborne recently. But you could so easily have a book club.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And people pay a certain amount a month for the book club. They get their book, and they also get to come to the book club and do all the
Yeah,
things that people do at book clubs. Um,
yeah.
and you
Skincare,
could
if you do facials, I suppose you could do like a monthly
exactly,
facial
yeah,
subscription.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like some of the other ones as well. Like if I think about I think it's a slightly different model, but I've got a Thermomix.
Yes, me too. Love it.
I love it. It's literally like once you Thermomix, you don't go back, do you?
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. But that's a direct selling model,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is, yeah.
And I would think, if you're a Thermomix, why don't you, if you were a Thermomix person, I don't know what you call them, advisor,
Advisors, they're
um,
advisors.
you could easily set up like a monthly cook along. So everyone does a new recipe and you teach a different recipe and, different hacks with the Thermomix. Because I know I've got my Thermomix, I use my Thermomix every single day without fail. I know there's so much more that that machine can do that I haven't even got a clue about.
Yeah, 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 me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm boiling eggs. I could be like, creating some kind of amazing souffle or something. But it is one of those things where
Yeah.
you could build that as an add-on, for like £10 a month or whatever it is. People come along to a cook along, they learn some new skills, they learn the new things. And actually from that, you could also upsell them the next products because within that, you use the sensor or you use the scale, whatever it is that's extra,
Yeah,
that's an upsell.
yeah. And there's so many different companies that could do that with all sorts of different
Mhm.
stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
even just like a monthly facial for everybody or a monthly get together on Zoom for everybody to be socializing and putting the products on or using
Yeah.
the stuff or, whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you had the subscription box, having like a monthly unboxing session where everyone can kind of get together on Zoom and then, unbox their boxes and you can talk about the products and stuff. It's a really nice way
Yeah.
of creating that community because community is just so important for any business these days.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And even if you're not charging for that and you're not doing it as a subscription box style model or a membership style model, the fact that you're doing those things will get you the
Mhm.
sales for the subscriptions and the products and the rest of
100%.
it. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It is just thinking a bit wider than like the tunnel vision of I must sell this amount of stuff to hit my target. It's more, how am I
Yeah.
going to make this simpler, quicker, easier, more recurring, however
Hmm.
you want to run it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Oh, thank you so much for talking to me today. It's
No,
been
thank
lovely.
you.
And I
Thank you
think
so
it's
much for
been
having me.
so helpful just to get a different perspective on this industry and the different things that you could do. Yeah, definitely. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very
Lauren, can
much.
you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, of course. So on Facebook, I have a free Facebook group. It's called So You Want to Start a Subscription Box. The business box is thebusinessbox.co.uk. And the Instagram handle is the Business Box UK. Yeah, and I'm just Lauren Prentice, so you can look me up on Facebook or LinkedIn. That is my name. My personal Instagram is I'm Little Lauren. If you want to see pictures of my cat. So yeah, come and find me.
Brill. And is there anything that you've got going on in your world that you want to shout about at the moment?
Not necessarily, no. I've got, all the sort of ongoing stuff. Come and join the free Facebook group. There's lots of sort of information and tips and advice and things in there. Um, yeah, always happy to help as well. If anyone's got any questions, then feel free to drop me a message.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you.
See you later.
Take care. Bye.